Hi guys, my name is Alicia Fletcher. I am one of the graduate students in the American Studies program that's taking this course. Disclaimer, I am taking this video on my cell phone because my laptop camera is horrible, so you'll have to excuse any shakiness. But for my guest lecture, I chose to discuss standpoint theory, which I feel like, at least for me, was one of the heavier topics to discuss, and one of the things that I felt like was harder to grasp, which is sort of why I decided to do this one, and so it would be better for you guys and better for me, so that I can sometimes I learn better by talking it through, and so that would help both myself and others, I would hope, sort of get a better understanding of it. But first of all, what standpoint theory is the best way that I can explain it is that every person has a certain set of social identities, and social identities are things like your race, your gender, your ability/disability, your sexuality, all of those things that sort of, we call them in my leadership class like the checkbox items, which are sort of like, when you're filling out census data, you check I am this and I am this, I am this. Those things that you would check off are your social identities, and they sort of make up who you are as a person and frame your worldview for the most part. So, when you have taken one of your social identities and you've sort of stepped back and critically analyzed the things that social identity does for you or takes away from you, and how they affect you in your society and in your political environment, then you have reached a standpoint. And the best example that I can give for this is clearly I am a white woman, and so because I am a white woman, I am afforded certain privileges that women of color don't have, and so I can use that position to advocate for other people. I can more clearly relate to other women and the experiences that they go through in a way that a man couldn't. And so it sort of has, if I step back and critically analyze and recognize those things, then theoretically I have reached that standpoint. And so standpoint theory as a whole is sort of the top of the branch, and it breaks down into feminist standpoint theory, which is what our reading mostly covered. And feminist standpoint theory and standpoint theories overall came from Marxist analysis. And so feminist standpoint theory explicitly comes from the Marxist idea of how patriarchy, male-ruled society essentially, is naturalized, and it has naturalized male and female divisions, which is sort of, you'll always hear people say, especially in topics around, or discussions around transgender people will say well, there are just certain differences between men and women, and that's a thing that we sort of take for granted and that we believe without having much critical analysis of. So Marxist theory was that patriarchal society has naturalized those differences between men and women and made us believe that they are just natural things that occur without us ever having to actually dig in and understand if they really do or why they do or anything like that. So for our discussion board, we were to discuss how standpoint theory connects to identity politics. So, first of all, I feel like it is necessary to distinguish what exactly identity politics is, because it is surrounded by negative connotations. So, identity politics is most commonly used in a negative form, especially when you see political candidates who are women or people of color or other minorities, and especially when you have people voting citizens who want to vote for a person because they share an identity. So because I am LGBT, if I wanted to vote for Pete Buttigieg because he is also LGBT, people would accuse me of playing identity politics. Or if Pete Buttigieg were using his status as an LGBT person to sort of appeal to me on that basis, then he's playing identity politics. But for me, I am of the opinion that identity politics is just intrinsic in politics. You can't strip away your identities. I can never stop being white, obviously. I can never stop being a woman. I can't stop being gay. And so these things are part of me. And they are, there is nothing stopping me. I cannot suddenly unexperience the experiences that I've had because of those. And because of those experiences, I can relate to other people who have had those experiences. And so it's just a natural occurrence for us to want to connect to people who have had those shared experiences and who we can relate to. So I've never personally understood the negative connotations of identity politics because it seems like a natural occurrence to me. And I think that in order to sort of #play identity politics, you have to have reached a standpoint where you understand the experiences that you've had and how you benefit from your identity in order to reach out to other people with that shared identity. So I hope this is sort of helpful for you guys and that I haven't rambled on too much, but that is what I have for you.